What you're hearing here is people finding their unique sound. He's approaching that like speaking on pitch. And so again, if you're going back to like, how do I know what I sound like? You know, maybe you sing Beyonce and you sound like Beyonce, and then you turn around and you sing Hamilton and you sound exactly like Philippa Sue, and you're trying to teach yourself by copying these artists. And you can get a little lost in the mix and wonder, what does my natural voice sound like? So that's where you want to start to try to master maybe like a speech level at your neutral larynx instead of copying all these artists, because that's how a lot of them found their strength. And by leaning into their naturalism and who they are, that became their strength. They got cast in the role, they recorded that, and now you're all chasing it. You're trying to sound like somebody else's naturalism. Yeah, Cameron.
Exactly what you're saying, I think, is really great, because some people assume that like everyone has a neutral that's universal with everyone else, and that's not the case.
Right.
So figuring out what your natural sound is really great.
This goes into, you know, this is one of the challenges of being a recording artist versus being a musical theater performer. So if you're a musical theater performer, a lot of times you have to adopt these ideals. So these strategies that we're discussing today can help you sound closer to the established ideal. So, you know, part of Mark's color, the reason they cast Anthony is because he needs to sound a little bit quirky and a little bit heady, and it's part of like his character and his approach to life. And so by you choosing this color, you sound closer to that, maybe that life experience and that ideal, and that's being an actor. As an actor, every time that you switch shows and you switch roles, you might be adjusting your vocal instrument to meet an ideal. And sometimes you have the fortune to establish that, like if you're the original person to do it. Or if a director just opens it up and they're like, you know what, I know what Anthony Rapp does, but I really just want you to be your own Mark. And you'll encounter that as well. And so if you ever get that, rather than being intimidated by it, you need to be able to say like, okay, he's asking me to use my speech level, and he's asking me to come at this at a conversational level. As a recording artist, you are trying to find your natural sound. And a lot of times it's going to be affected by the style and the genre that you want to sing in and the music that you want to represent. But you know that like what we're always looking for in the recording industry is what makes you unique. So it's sort of like you have to know both things. You have to have a heavy respect for the genre that you're singing in. You have to know where it comes from and why it sounds like it sounds and what it means. But you also have to be able to find yourself in that mix. And you need to sing with your voice. You know, I love Kelly Clarkson, and this thing she does with karaoke, where she like changes styles every single week, is incredible, and it constantly reminds me why she was the American Idol, and some of you are too young to remember that, but that was so exciting, and it's because she was doing exactly, night by night leading up to the final, exactly what she's doing in karaoke. They threw every single genre and style that they could throw at her as she approached the final, and she killed every one of them, but she always sounded like Kelly Clarkson, and she still does that on her show. She's able to really embrace a style, and it makes it sound like she understands it. When she sings rock, it sounds like she understands rock. When she sings R&B and blues, it sounds like she understands that culture. And so that's why she's successful, because we don't go, oh, she shouldn't be messing around with that. We don't think that when Kelly sings. And yet she's able to maintain this unique identity where it always sounds like her voice. So she's doing this thing where she's respecting music and she's singing it appropriately the way it's supposed to be sung, but she's able to use her natural instrument, and that's why she can sing all the notes and she can sing with dynamics, and she doesn't wear out and she doesn't sound like she's forcing it. She's singing with her natural instrument, but she's also singing with style and genre. And so that's why I think she's such a successful singer when she switches styles like that.
Interested in more voice training? Visit us at wolfstudiosnyc.com.